All right. Okay. So let's see. Um, I hope this was like just made like one video. So um, anyhow, we're just gonna get back to what we were discussing. So maybe if that really cut, I'm gonna make it two part just because I hate to waste my time and so on. I know time is precious for me. And time is precious for you. Donc, le temps est précieux pour moi et le temps est précieux pour vous aussi. We're gonna have to show some respect for that, isn't it? Donc, il va falloir démontrer du respect pour ça, isn't it? N'est-ce pas? Okay, so let's continue here. Okay, so what he's saying there is, there used to be this debate in Quebec where some people wanted to make Quebec a country, and some people still want to do that. And I know it's the case in other provinces as well, like Alberta. And I've seen polls where these days Alberta is separatism is stronger than separatism in Quebec because it's in Alberta it's cultural, it's more right leaning, and at the same time also it's more economically related, just because Trudeau and the government want to phase out tar sands, and that's their way of living. That's the way they made themselves rich in Alberta, and it makes a lot of people work, and so people are afraid of such things, such a party who wants to basically close their businesses and phase them out. It's not reassuring for them. So this is where the separatist sentiment usually comes from, and all kinds of other stuff as well. So, but in Quebec, it's it's the opposite. Like it's less economic. It's more of a nationalistic point of view, just because of our French roots and French ancestry and so on, and the culture and whatever, and the way we run things instead of the British Parliament. But we do have the British Parliament, but anyhow. So let's get back to what the guy is saying there. Donc il dit, en gros, il dit, moi je veux pas perdre mes montagnes rocheuses, which is really satire of some federalist back in the days of this debate, which, as I said, it's much less raging than it used to be back in the days, because the generation who founded it, who really built it, it's more like the baby boomers, and these days they are, fortunately, just because it's life, they are on the verge of dying for lots of them. And I'm going as a Generation X, I'm going on the same track. I'll be the next one in line. So it's just life. I do understand that. Donc c'est ça. Et puis des pauvres. Okay. So it's puis des pauvres, il y en aura toujours. So there's always going to be poor people. So that's what he's saying. If I translate also in French from France, it would be et des pauvres, il y en aura toujours. So all right, let's move on. Enjoyable, right? I don't know. So he said with Groslo, his horse, I don't know, It is, what would I say, is champion. We all have our savior or whatnot in our politician. So I guess for this guy, the name of his savior is called Groslo. We don't know his first name, but and it's a fictitious character. So il says avec Groslo, mais on va mettre de l'ordre là-dedans. C'est ça qui manque aujourd'hui, de l'ordre. L'ordre, order. So that's what's lacking these days. Order. So with Groslo, he's gonna get it. Groslo, il va mettre de l'ordre là-dedans. Let's move on. Okay. So he said here, just want to get back to. Avec Groslo, on va savoir ce qu'on s'en va. Les révolutionnaires, on va leur mettre un peu de plomb dans la tête, pas dans l'œil, dans la tête. Dans la tête? Dans la tête. So that's how we pronounce it in Quebec somehow. Faut être réaliste, calice. So it's more like we have to be fucking realistic, or just because calice is a swear word, because our swear words in Quebec are related to religion, to the Catholic religion. So calice is a chalice if we translate it in English. So yeah. So that's his joke. So for Trelis Kalis, there's a little rhyme there. So it's almost like poetry. I'm just exaggerating a bit. So I don't see any equivalent in English. But we like that kind of word puns in French somehow. Let's go. Let's keep on going. And we don't have much to cover. Okay, maybe I'll have time to cover another one. Ils vont arrêter de jouer au fou avec nous autres. Ils m'empêcheront pas de vivre, moi. So he said they are going to stop playing fools with us. They won't impede me to live my life. They won't. They will stop bugging me, basically. So ils marcheront à vie. Ils m'empêcheront pas de vivre. So empêcher would be impede. So yeah. So that once again doesn't make a lot of sense in what they heard. They thought the YouTube heard. All right, so I feel I'm a little better than them in this kind of game. Let's keep on going. So it ends with a joke there. It says, avec Groslo, me l'avoir mon permis de bière. So translated in French from France. Avec Groslo, je vais l'avoir mon permis de bière. So me l'avoir would be je vais l'avoir. So if you hear that from French Quebeckers, so it means je vais usually. Okay, like mali mali malette, which means je vais aller poster cette lettre à la poste. So kind of all kinds of ways to speak to each other, and it's fun to learn new stuff. So, and it's still the case even in 2023. We still keep on preserve this beautiful joual culture. All right. So let's see. Let's see another one, maybe. All right. This one is kind of funny. So this would be in the second. There was 3 movies, so that would be the second one. Okay. So once again, full disclosure, we're gonna have some vulgarities and some swear words here and there. So maybe if you're too sensible, if you're too if you would be too affected by that, just shut down the video right there, and we're still gonna be good friends in the end, at the end of the day. So no problem at all with that. So let's hear that one. It's once again, it's like 4 minutes. Shouldn't be that long. So, and there's a punch at the end. It's gonna be quite vulgar and obscene, but it's just a joke. So, you know, just bear with me. Donc, on dit au début, c'est l'annonceuse qui parle quand même bien un bon français. Elle a dit, dans le fond, ce temps d'antenne est donné à tous les partis fédéraux. I guess there's an election coming up. So this broadcasting time is provided to all political parties, and that's usually what they do. Donc, vous entendrez ce soir. You're going to hear tonight. So you see when French person is talking a good French, YouTube has less problems than, usually what's going on with this infamous French Quebecers. And that gives me a little job to do, just because if you're going to base yourself, if you're going to hear something like that and base yourself on YouTube, you're going to say, well, those people, they're really out of their mind in what they're saying, they don't really make sense. So let's keep on going. Okay, so she's presenting him, and they all get it right somehow this time. So they're gonna receive Mr. Robert Gratton, which we all call Bob Gratton, who is doing this character Elvis Gratton. Président du comité des intellectuels pour le nom. So be the president of the intellectuals for the no side in the referendum on separation. So that was the idea back then. But the movie was like 5 years. This movie was like in 2000, so 5 years or 1999 anyhow. So like 4 or 5 years after the infamous referendum on separation in 1995, which was the last one, basically. All right, let's keep on going. This is Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. So I don't know how they get mais la menace simule bonsoir. Okay. It's just saying like it's all ladies and gentlemen, basically. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So that's what he's saying right there. Nothing about this menace, just threat, simule bonsoir. This threat simulation that doesn't really make sense right there, right off the bat. So you see, we are stuck. Are you stuck with me? To understand what's going on, I'm going to be your help, your guide in this infamous adventure. So let's keep on moving. Okay. So comme vous le savez, they got that actually right, YouTube. Notre pays vit des heures graves et les séparatistes veulent détruire le Canada. Which means the country lives its darkest hours. And the separatists, they want to destroy Canada, which, makes sense right there. So, let's keep on going. Don't want to make myself an editorial. I'm just there to translate stuff, basically. So they want to take away from us our Rocky Mountains, just as he said in the other one. So, à vous, à moi, so to you, to me, au gérant de caisse populaire, so to the co-op. So it's like, it's instead of a bank, it's a cooperative. So, you know, so, or we could just replace it just for the sake of it by bank, you know, to the bank manager, local bank manager, and to our kids, nos enfants, to our children, right? Let's keep on going. Says, quoi qu'ils s'acharnent tant, so acharné. Why are they always picking on my Rocky Mountains? So I would translate in this case acharné by, I guess, picking, or, you know, always being on the case of his infamous Rocky Mountains that we were going to lose if we were going to become a country. Unfortunately, it's going to happen if Alberta gets away, you know. Anyhow, let's move on. Okay, now he keeps on going on the Rocky Mountains. It's supposed to be really funny. It's kind of, you know, I wasn't laughing my ass off when I heard that, but some people could find it funny. He keeps on going on his Rocky Mountains and so on and so forth. So why they, you know, makes him really sad that they are, you know, they are wishing bad stuff to the country. The fact that if the Quebec's going to separate, then we were going to lose the Rocky Mountains. And something else also, maybe a little money through that, but let's keep on going. Moi, je suis fier d'être Canadien. Donc, sometimes je suis will become moi, je suis fier. So, CHU instead of je suis. Moi, je suis fier d'être Canadien. And he said monsieur and not reçu. Comme je suis fier d'être Québécois, they got that right. So, pretty good. They're improving themselves. You too. Keep on going, guys. Okay. Okay. So he keeps on this joke that was in the first one, like I'm Quebecker, Canadian, French, Francophone, and so on and so forth. So all kinds of variation on that topic. So and at the end, the joke is that it's supposed to get it really confusing in the end. But let's continue. OK. Ça, je suis un francophone d'un océan à l'autre. So, from, as they say in Latin, mare osque ad mare. So, from coast to coast to coast, as they say in English. So, that's what he's saying. I'm francophone from one ocean to the other. So that's what Canada is. It's a link between, just like the United States or Mexico, or just like that, or South America. We are separating on this continent of America, north, middle, and south, we're separation from the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. sense? All right, so that's where it comes from. All right, okay, let's go. Go. Oui. On va juste couper un peu dans la dernière phrase parce que ça fait un peu mêlé. Okay, so we're gonna cut in bits and pieces from the end of last sentence because people are going to get confused about it. So it makes, ça fait un peu mêlé, so means there are melee would be mixed up. So people are going to get mixed up if we keep that kind of sentences. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, let's move on. Okay, c'est ça. Inquiétez-vous pas au montage, ça paraîtra pas, ça va faire plus sérieux. So when we're going to do the montage, it's not gonna show, and it's gonna make it it's gonna be more serious. Basically, that's essentially that's what he's saying right there. Let's keep on moving. Donc ici, il dit, tu rajouterais ici le mot sécession instead of, au lieu de séparation. Donc, sécession, in Bob Gratton saying, comme aux États-Unis, like in the United States. The other says yes, and that makes it more dramatic. And that's the effect that they seem to want to get in this special case. So he said right there, la guerre civile, ça l'accentue l'idée de la peur. So civil war increases the idea of fear, and that makes it more scarier. Okay, that's what he's saying, and that's why he's laughing about it. Comment s'écrit ça là? Donc, how's it written? How'd you write that? Donc, le mot sécession. And he's spelling it, of course. Said, whoa, whoa, les nerfs. So basically, whoa, let's not get on our high horses. So let's keep it calm. And what else can I say? Whoa, calm down, basically. I'm not a machine. So that's because he's going too fast spelling the word sécession. And then he's going to do it slower, and we're going to see what will happen. Okay, so he's spelling it, and it says "y a rien là," which means, well, there's nothing in there. So it's what it says, rien là. So it's like a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. Any expression you want to put that where it's easy. So it came from being hard too fast to easy to get. Okay, let's move ahead. So the lady said, tout le monde en place, moteur, action, ça tourne. So basically light, camera, and revolution. No, that's suicidal tendencies. That's another thing that's a band, punk band. So, but so 3, 2, 1, action, basically. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so so what he's saying there is if we're going on the path of separatism, it's gonna be really scary. And not right there, they don't have it right. Okay. Désolé, I'm so sorry. Toutes mes lights. OK. Donc, c'est ça. Il dit. Donc, on n'a pas de certitude parce que l'incertitude, c'est incertain. So, uncertainty is uncertain. So, makes there's all kinds of jokes around that idea of repeating the same word and make it um, make it stronger by repeating it, I guess. Let's keep on going. Allons-y, allons-y, comme j'aime dire à mon gars. As Jean Chrétien is saying, or leader is saying to us, la Constitution. So now he's having problem saying the word Constitution. La Constitution in French. Constitution, Constitution. So you see it's exactly the same spelling. It's the pronunciation that's a little different. C'est la prononciation qui est légèrement différente, qui n'est pas pareille. Let's move on. So the Constitution, la Constitution, ça n'intéresse personne. Person is like person, personne, but pronounced in a Quebec way, so personne. So sometimes we do that, just like merde becomes marde and all that kind of nice stuff. So it's just our way of saying a few words here and there. So P-R-S-O-N, he's giving a wrong spelling for that. And let's see what he has to say afterwards. Okay. Okay. So now he's saying les gens ce qui les intéresse c'est le pain puis le beurre. Donc laissez-moi vous le répéter en français de France. Les gens ce qui les intéresse c'est le pain et le beurre. So beurre, beurre, beurre. So depending on where you come from, I guess it comes from an English pronunciation somehow. So le beurre is beurre, which is butter, butter basically. That's only what it is. So what the people are interested in knowing about is oh, that's kind of a scary face there. So it's bread and butter. And he's gonna put also on the top of this the belloni, le balloni. Donc belloni is, yeah, it's the English word, is this kind of fast food meat. They process with all kinds of spices and salt just to make just like to make something out of the residue. And that's what le belloni is, just like sausages for hot dogs. They are kind of not too good. Not too good for the health. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna get it right. Allons-y, allons-y. Allons-y, so let's move on. Allons-y. Let's go. So it's this stuff that comes on the screen is completely unrelated. So, il n'y en aura plus de bellonné, donc il n'y aura plus de viande de Bologne, donc de viande de Bologne. Si on s'en va sur le séparatisme, if we go on the pathway of separatism. So that's what he's saying right there. Okay, so now he said c'est comme la guerre de sécession aux États-Unis. So it's like the secession war, civil war in the United States. I guess that's the way they call it in English. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's the same in English. Donc, la guerre de séparation, you know, between the South, North and the South, about slavery and all that kind of stuff. If they were going to still be dependent on the mother, on Britain, the colony of Britain, or they were going to become independent, which was in the 18th century, I believe. Donc, au 18e siècle, la guerre de sécession aux États-Unis, États-Unis being United States. And it says afterwards, le Canada, c'est le meilleur pays au monde ou du monde. Donc, Canada is the best country in the world. And then they're cutting him there because we're going to see why. Says c'est pas vrai, mais c'est ce qui est écrit. So it's not true. You know, he's like in disbelief because he's being cut, and answers back. That's what's written on there. C'est ce qui est écrit sur la feuille. In other words. Okay, let's keep on going. Donc, après ça, ils vont lui dire oui, c'est correct, mais dites-le avec plus de conviction, avec le feu dans les yeux, and so on. So, le meilleur pays au monde. It says that is a strong part of the speech. So, c'est le point fort du discours. That's what it means. It's a strong part of the speech. That's what it means. Okay, so now they're practicing that. C'est le plus meilleur au monde. That's the basically plus meilleur would be like the more better, which the more best, you know. So it's kind of I guess do they say that in English, pleonasm, but that's something that Jean Chrétien was supposed to have said, but he never said. I believe it was story made up, but yeah, so sometimes there are fake quotations. But he said some pretty salty stuff at some point, but let's not get into that. Donc, tout le monde, tous les Canadiens qui m'écoutent se rappellent sûrement de ce premier ministre canadien appelé Jean Chrétien, le petit gars de Shawinigan. Donc, Jean Chrétien, the Prime Minister of Canada. There's something also that I do want to mention. Maybe I mentioned it in the past, but when we're saying in Quebec, because the thing is in Quebec, we say, in French, I mean, we say prime minister also for the prime ministers of all the provinces. But in English, they say premiers instead of prime minister. Prime minister being the term reserved for the head of the country, so equivalent of the president. in the United States, or the leader of the states, basically. Yeah, so like right now, the leader of Canada, the Prime Minister, is Justin Trudeau, and the Premier of Quebec would be François Legault, but in French would say Premier Ministre in both cases. On dirait par exemple le Premier ministre du Canada et le Premier ministre du Québec. Et ce serait la même chose pour d'autres provinces. Donc, Premier ministre de l'Ontario, ben, c'est Doug Ford. So the Premier of Ontario is Doug Ford. And there was actually an anecdote about that, because at some point there was this journalist, probably she was doing translation in her head. So she said to Doug Ford, Mr. Prime Minister, and he answered back, not yet. So that was funny. Donc, c'est ça. En français, il a dit, il s'est fait dire, ben, Monsieur le Premier ministre, puis il a dit, pas, non, pas encore, not yet. So maybe he plans to be one Prime Minister of Canada one of these days. But, you know, I don't think it's going to happen because he's too busy and too focused on Ontario. That's what I think. And sometimes it works, you know, but sometimes it doesn't. You know, some people switch from federal to provincial, or from provincial to federal, or municipal to, you know, whatever, and it works, and they are elected, and they have success. But in some cases, the switch, it doesn't work. It could be, sometimes it works halfway through, you know. So like there's an ex-premier. He's, well, I guess it's kind of a success in itself, but you know, he's not my favorite one, and he's not the favorite one of lots of Ontarian, because of things that happened through his mandate. He was in the 90s, so his name is Bob Ray. So there was the Ray days back in the days, the NDP, which is very left, very socialist, communist, or whatnot. But still, maybe these days would be considered more of a centrist party. But back in the days, it was quite outrageous. Then he raised the debt of Ontario and so on. So didn't really appreciate him then, but I guess some people do appreciate enough to give him this job of being like a minister in the cabinet of Justin Trudeau. Let's keep on going. Now it says right there, ben, on va trouver d'autres choses, so we'll find something else. And the lady there is going to come with an idea there. Okay, so now she's calling the queue for the camera. It's gonna be going on. And of course, there's this silly joke of fellatio going on underneath the desk there. Donc, c'est ce qui se passe. Hein? Some people really found it funny, and I guess apologize for those who find this type of humor offensive. I'm so sorry. Je suis désolé. It is what it is. C'est ce que c'est. You know? C'est la vie. It's life. Saying stuff like Canada, c'est le plus intelligent, c'est le plus smart, so smart, which is intelligence, so that's a word we use commonly. But once this is a funny one, because lots of time in in French we're gonna mix up gentil and so smart, which would be smart, which is an long abbreviation for smart in English. So smart sometimes is used for somebody that is gentil, so a gentle person. I guess it could be used like that, but it's more like if you're smart in English, it's like you're intelligent. Whereas sometimes, depending on the situation, in French, in Quebec, French, um, sometimes it would mean also gentil, or it could mean both, actually. Ça peut vouloir dire les deux aussi. Let's move on. It's almost the end. Okay, so now he's on the verge of exploding his pants, as the joke goes with the movie Anger Management. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'il dit déjà? C'est ça, donc, he gets cut, and he says, non, non, coupez pas tout de suite, so don't cut right away, because, because you can deduce whatever. Vous pouvez en venir à votre propre conclusion à la fin, n'est-ce pas? Finish that. OK, donc c'est vraiment le plus hostile, which, is a swear word. So, so I guess that's really what the Mr. Falardeau had in mind. In the end, so sorry. So he finished that thing, vous pouvez couper à cette heure. So now, yeah, of course, you can cut right now since I came, I guess. Okay. Ah, this is the way things are. C'est la vie, les amis. Alors, j'espère que vous avez apprécié la vidéo. Alors, si vous avez aimé, s'il vous plaît, mettre un petit thumbs up comme ça. Vous abonner aussi à la chaîne. Hein. J'ai passé la dernière fois de 13 à 15. C'est toujours les premiers, les pionniers d'une chaîne qui sont vraiment les plus durs à avoir. OK? Et une fois que la roue a commencé, ben, on peut espérer être meilleur, grandir à travers tout ça. Alors, j'espère que vous m'aiderez dans mon but de rejoindre le plus de monde possible dans l'apprentissage du français. So, for my English fellows, don't forget to put a thumbs up like that underneath this video, and to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. That's really appreciated. And the hardest part is really the first subscribers to get. So this is really the hardest part, is because at first I was like stuck at 13 for a while, and then I got two more, which is appreciated. It's kind of nice for those who subscribed to this infamous nice channel. And the more we're going to be, the more we're going to participate, the more fun we're going to have learning. Donc, le plus de gens qu'on va être, le plus de plaisir qu'on va avoir, n'est-ce pas? Plus on est de fou, plus on rit. So I guess I'd translate that by the more we are, the crazier we get. And yeah, so thanks a lot for being here, and appreciate your time with me. I hope that you went through and you did appreciate as much as I did. Et on se revoit, les amis, à la semaine prochaine. Hasta la vista, baby. Ciao, bye et salut, bye. À la prochaine. Je vous aime. Bye.